Ready, accumulate, fretful. They're off, jumping out with 7 furlongs, 1,400 metres ahead of them. The Peroni Nastro Azzurro 0% handicap. And Dragon Leader out on the right with the white cap is the first to show up. To the nose-banded Arctic Thunder. And then the white-faced American Bay, who's tracking the filly Geologist. She's in the cheek pieces. And Accumulate in the dark blue, having got a little bit upset in the stalls, is restrained in the final position by James Doyle. They meander their way through the first couple of furlongs, and it's Dragon Leader who sets a fairly steady tempo here. 2 Geologists and the nose-banded Arctic Thunder over American Bay, and Accumulate to race side by side at the back end of the field, spearheading down the middle of the track on towards the halfway point. And Dragon Leader is being given a pretty soft time in front here. They've been setting some fairly steady fractions. He has a lead of a length over Arctic Thunder. Accumulate on the left is now beginning to ease closer under James Doyle. Moving on down towards the last quarter mile, and the 5 of them fan out. American Bay on the extreme right is being asked for his effort as Dragon Leader is headed, and American Thunder comes through with Accumulate. So the nose-banded Arctic Thunder and Accumulate to American Bay down the near side. Deep inside the furlong they come. Accumulate the dark blue, laying it down to Arctic Thunder. These two trading punches. Arctic Thunder, Accumulate continues to pester. Arctic Thunder, Accumulate came alongside. Very close between the pair. They were chased in by Dragon Leader. American Bay down the near side, and Geologist. They're off. 5 furlongs, 1,000 metres ahead of them. Miss Rascal away to the left in the yellow, got a very bright start and leads them through the first furlong of this Juddmonte restricted maiden Fillies stakes. The other with experience, Nana's Diamond in the pink and blue, tracks the pace. Miss Showdown, the black cap, stalking the leading pair, followed further back by Dolce Vita with the white sleeves. Kylie of Nakheel red cap is last but one of the white-faced filly 001 races at the back of the field as once again they head out towards the centre of the course, and they're led down towards halfway by Miss Rascal to Nana's Diamond. Miss Showdown in behind, the black cap out on the right being ridden along Dolce Vita. Further back Kylie of Nakheel 001. Miss Rascal in front being pestered by Nana's Diamond, and these two have broken 3 lengths clear of the pursuers. Experience to the fore here as they come inside the Fergal, and Miss Rascal has made every inch, and she's galloping on very willingly here. Nana's Diamond is continuing to chase, but it's vain pursuit as Miss Rascal makes all to win emphatically from Nana's Diamond. Dolce Vita shaping with encouragement in third, staying on into fourth. Kylie of Nakheel. Set. They're off, racing over 1.25 miles with Queen's Fort in the maroon, restrained. Leaving the stalls, Pure of Heart, light green cap against the rail, got a good break, leads them through the first furlong with the nose-banded Hillbridge. They stride on by a couple of lengths to Nakheel with the blue cap racing wide of Queen's Fort. And then Minhuna, the yellow silks tucked away at the running rail, and Queen of Soldiers, red and white silks of James Doyle at the back of the field as they continue to run downhill and move into the bend at Swinley Bottom in this Palmer & Co. Champagne Maiden Fillies Stakes, and it's Pure of Heart and Jamie Spencer who take them along. Tracked by Hillbridge, the pink cap for double chasing David Probert. Maroon Jacket, Kieran Schumacher against the running rail on Queen's Fort, disputing third place with Nakheel, the blue cap for Pat Dobbs. And then Minhuna, Tom Marquand, the yellow silks, and still at the back of the field is Queen of Soldiers under James Doyle. They're making the steady ascent now as they move towards halfway. Pure of Heart dictating here to the nose-banded filly Hillbridge racing in closest attendance. Queen's Fort stalks the leading pair just ahead of Nakheel and Minhuna, the owner mate, sitting 4th and 5th, and Queen of Soldiers remains at the tail of the field. The last half mile is in sight now, and they're about to begin the swing for home. Spencer glancing in behind aboard the pace-setting Pure of Heart. Hillbridge still sitting at the leader's quarters. Queen's Fort in a bit of a pocket at the moment. Will need a little daylight when they straighten, but the pace has been a very steady one, and it's going to be a bit of a sprint inside the last 3 furlongs. Crown of the Bend, Pure of Heart to Hillbridge, Queen's Fort. Then Nakheel with the blue cap. Minhuna is further back, and Queen's Soldier out on the right is now being finessed into it. On down towards the last quarter mile. Hillbridge puts her nose-banded head alongside Pure of Heart, who's asked for more. Here's Queen of Soldiers down the near side, beginning to run on with Nakheel. Queen's Fort and Minhuna are in behind. On down to the last furlong. Almost 4 in a line here. Down the outside, Nakheel with the blue cap is coming through with Queen of Soldiers. Soldiers. These two now moving on together. Nakheel by a whisker. Queen of Soldiers is bearing down on her. Heads up, heads down. Nakheel just over Queen of Soldiers. Close for third between Queen's Fort and Hillbridge. Pure of Heart Weekend and then Minhuna. Set. They're off. 6 furlongs, 1,200 metres ahead of them. Peroni Nastro Azzurro, Live Every Moment Handicap. Eminency jumping out on the extreme left is Handy. So too Grand Traverse in a beige jacket. The big board in the blue and white out on the right racing enthusiastically. And the XO in the purple, so it completes the leading line at the end of a furlong and bits. Nose banded grey, Billy Joe is chasing the leaders to halfway with Ratir in the dark blue and orange and Glenfinnan in the black and white. Only a couple of lengths off the pace. Conversely, white-faced Dream Composer on the extreme right is ridden with restraint, and so too Russet Gold being finessed into it on the far side in the blue and white diamonds. So through halfway, on down towards the last 2.5 furlongs. Well-grouped Eminency, the big board in the blue and white and Grand Traverse between them. Far side Glenfinnan, and now on the extreme left, Russet Gold is coming through. Down the near side, the nose-banded grey Billy Joe is being asked to pick up. Glenfinnan struck the front just outside the furlong. Billy Joe, the big board and Russet Gold are all chasing with Grand Traverse. Down towards the last 110 yards. Billy Joe tackling Glenfinnan. Russet Gold and the big board still in the thick of the action. Glenfinnan. Billy Joe is bearing down on him. Russet Gold. And it's very close in the end between Glenfinnan, Russet Gold thrusting and Billy Joe down the near side. And those three broke clear. Another finish of inches. They're off. 6 furlongs ahead of them. Came out to a fairly clean line. Nose-banded Daring Legend is up amongst the leaders early on, with Jimmy Speaking out on the extreme right in a white jacket. Two groups at this stage. In the right-hand group, Tiger Tulip, yellow sleeves and cap, is racing enthusiastically. Chasing the leaders on the right-hand side on the Money Honey and the dark blue and white as now the groups converge. On the extreme left of the group, Mashadi in a violet jacket ahead of Angel of England in the white and red. Western in the light blue racing in midfield. Towards the left, one from the left, in fact, Spirited Lad. Among those held up, Imperial Guard in the greys, just in behind Angel's Call, dark blue and white ridden along. Northview in the light green is in rear. They've gone through halfway. 2.5 furlongs left to cover. Despite leaning to his right, Jimmy Speaking white jacket has a narrow lead. Over the nose banded Daring Legend and Tiger Tulip between them. Far side Mashadi has every chance, but is another who edges right. Angel of England in the red and white is coming through. Down the near side, Northview running on from the rear. Inside the furlong, Mashadi continuing to edge right, but so too is Jimmy Speaking. These two dominating the finish. Mashadi, Jimmy Speaking. It's another heads up, heads down finish. Very close between the two. Jimmy Speaking and Mashadi going past together. Ahead of Imperial Guard, chased in by Angel's Call and Northview out wide. They're off. The straight mile ahead of them. Boyfriend came very slowly out of the stalls in the red and green. He gave him a 3 or 4 length start. White-faced Tarab is dropped in from a low draw towards the rear of the field. Through the first furlong in the extreme left, the Ice Phoenix is running a little bit of a solo, but is right in the leading line. And now Al Jazor, the white cap, is moving over to keep him company. Few of the others are following in that left-hand group. Crown Estate, the scarlet sleeves. Let's Dream in the dark blue. Zane Blue in the blue and orange. And Tarab, yellow jacket, is last of the cluster on the left. On the right, Big Bertie Bassett in the dark green cap gives the lead to 4 rivals. He's slipstreamed by Break the Bank in the blue and white, the white-faced Double Jump, the Smiling Wolf in a white jacket, and the slow-starting Boyfriend is last of that group of 5 who race in single file on the right-hand side. They're already towards the end of the third furlong. Big Bertie Bassett on the right, the Ice Phoenix on the left. Break the Bank in the right-hand group continues to chase the lead. Al Jazor in the left-hand group is a couple of lengths off the pace there as they go through halfway and beyond. So spread out right out across the track. The Ice Phoenix on the left, Big Bertie Bassett on the right. Al Jazor maroon jacket is ridden along. Break the Bank in the blue and white is coming through. White-faced Double Jump pass for an effort. Then Crown Estate, the scarlet sleeve. Zane Blue on the far side. Tarab in the yellow's got a bit of work to do. Boyfriend is further back with the Smiling Wolf and Let's Dream. Just outside the furlong, the Ice Phoenix and Big Bertie Bassett on the near side are still the leading pair. Zane Blue in the blue and orange and Crown Estate and the Royal Soaks are also running on strongly, but it's the Ice Phoenix and Billy Loughnane in front, and not for catching. The Ice Phoenix over Zane Blue, Crown Estate and Big Bertie Bassett in a race in which very few got involved. And Bailey's Khelstar, the short price favourite, yellow and green silks for Archie Young, the first to show up, to Mottersen on the near side in the shades of blue, working into Hedonista, the dark blue and cream, and Foveros, the flame sleeves and cap under Jack Doughty down at the running rail, just sliding past Hedonista as they move to the judge first time. Crescent Lake in the purple and green is held up by Anna Gibson, racing wide of Cherry Cola, the green and white, and 2 lengths away to Anis Optra, held up last of the 7, as Bailey's Khelstar leads them right-handed and steadily towards the end of the first half mile. Bailey's Khelstar striding on by a couple of lengths to Mottersen. Foveros racing on the inner of Hedonista, and Crescent Lake is wide of Cherry Cola, and there's just over 2 lengths away to Anis Optra, who continues to look on. They head now inside the last mile and a half, freewheeling on down the hill at this point. Bailey's Khelstar, restrained in front, allows Mottersen to close to within 3 parts of a length. Foveros against the running rail, disputing third with Hedonista. They race a length and a half in advance of Crescent Lake, the purple and green, who's the shadow to Cherry Cola, and Anis Optra remains at the back of a largely well-grouped field. Going along at around the mid-30s miles an hour at the moment, and Bailey's Khelstar under Archie Young dictating to Mottersen. Fred Larson in closest attendance, the white-faced Foveros under Jack Doughty, upsides Hedonista and Joe Levy. Then Cherry Cola, green and white silks for Rose Dawes, with Crescent Lake and Anna Gibson, the dark green and purple on that one's outer, and still Anis Optra ridden with restraint by Sean Bowen as they move through the halfway point and swing the bend at Swinley Bottom. Bailey's Khelstar has been allowed to dominate so far, just steady the pace into the turn, just shy of 34 miles an hour. Mottersen remains second, Foveros on the inner of Hedonista, followed in pairs in behind by Crescent Lake and Cherry Cola, and 2 lengths away to Anis Optra. Beginning now the steady climb away from Swinley Bottom inside the last 3/4 of a mile. And Bailey's Khelstar has had the run of things so far. The others in no great haste in behind. Mottersen remains in closest attendance. Foveros just shading third now. Over Hedonista, the dark blue. Crescent Lake remains wide of Cherry Cola, and still Anis Optra waits at the back of the field. They're heading for the final half mile, about to begin the swing for home. Bailey's Khelstar over Mottersen. Foveros yet to leave the inner. Then Hedonista. Cherry Cola in a green and white jacket, held in into the turn by Crescent Lake, and Anis Optra remains at the back of the field. They're heading now for the final 3 furlongs, racing to the crown of the turn. Bailey's Khelstar, made all so far, will be first in line for the judge as they hit the bell. Mottersen is ridden along. Foveros, white faces are some more. Hedonista on the right now, beginning to launch a challenge. Extreme right, Crescent Lake is coming into it. Then Cherry Cola. Anis Optra is outpaced, and Bailey's Khelstar is still pouring it on in front here. Skipped over 2 lengths clear. Hedonista is chasing. Crescent Lake has moved into third, just outside the furlong. Bailey's Khelstar. Hedonista, though, is inching closer, bearing down on the favourite. Crescent Lake a couple lengths to make up. Inside the last 100 yards, Bailey's Khelstar all out. Hedonista is still pressing, inching closer. Bailey's Khelstar fell in. First Ascot winner for Archie Young on his first ride here. Beat Hedonista. Crescent Lake in third, back in fourth, Cherry Cola.